Tonight, Nexon accuses indie developer Iron Mace Games of stealing trade secrets and actually reporting them to authorities. Second, Games Done Quick bans Harry Potter and Five Nights at Freddy's from the marathon for stupid reasons. And our lead story tonight, Redfall's physical and online issues. All that and more in 60 seconds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the W2 Report. I am your host, Sanji Himura. And as always, Lord Crocosquirrel will read over the ground rules.
Rule number 1, be not the dick. Rule number 2, if you have questions, please refer to rule number 1. If you are being the dick, we get to stuff you in a corner until you stop.
And as always, we are joined.
In any circumstances, contact anybody or go harass folks. We will disavow your existence completely, and then invite you to not return.
And as always, we are joined by our third man in the ring, Mr. Thomas. Say hello, Mr. Thomas.
Hello, Mr. Thomas.
See, why can't you do that? Why can't you do that when I work with? Say hello, Snark Patrol.
Because I'm usually trying to come up with something creative to try to stir things up a little bit here, you know?
Yeah, well, people stopped being creative about these things for a long time ago. Sometimes going with the George and Gracie joke is better than going, I'm Morgan. I am not Morgan Freeman. Hi. I'm Gordon Freeman. There's a difference.
So tell me, Squirrel, do you like fish sticks?
It depends on the fish. It do.
All right.
And whether or not I'm sticking them places people don't want them to go.
All right, our lead story tonight is Redfall's physical and online issues. Just on the 17th of February, news source WVGC, video game news, or video game news, released an article saying that it looks like the Redfall's physical version includes a download code instead of a disc.
As it happens, somebody thought that this game was going to be what was that again? Oh yeah, another the next Elder Scrolls game. Wrong.
Well, that would have been me.
Elder Scrolls 6. Yes, that would be you. Actually, funnily enough, you weren't the only one to make that assumption because it's been a while since Bethesda did an original, a quote unquote original IP. But in this particular case, it looks like they're kind of doing the Dead by Daylight back Left 4 Dead thing. I'm not sure which. Their description of it is a little wonky, but it looks like it's supposed to be 4-player co-op. Which I don't think is actually. I don't think that's going to work very well.
Well, as spotted, yeah. Go ahead.
So we know it's not Elder Scrolls, but is it even Elder's Post-it note?
No. Nope. Elder Post-it notes don't actually get too far. We had one of those with a game called Battlespire about 1 billion years ago, and yeah, so and it's really and it turned out to be really dependent on what kind of a critter you are. Some people loved it. Hello to you, Razor Fist. Other people, not so much.
Well, the article goes on to explain that, as spotted by an Reset Era user, the games page on the Bethesda support site states, quote, the physical Xbox copies of Redfall and our Xbox Play Anywhere codes that can be played on both the Xbox Series XS and the Microsoft app on PC. Bethesda later clarified that there was unclear Redfall information being shared on a Bethesda customer support fact regarding Redfall. It has since been corrected. The physical retail version of Redfall for Xbox Standard Edition does come with a Blu-ray disc. The Byte Back upgrade can be purchased separately. Within the Byte Back upgrade, you will find a code that grants you the Byte Back upgrade in-game items. Owners of the Xbox physical edition of Redfall who wish to buy the Byte Back upgrade can either do so digitally or at participating retailers. The physical retail version of the PC version does not come with the disc of the game.
Nope. Because, well, honestly, this is pretty much standard behavior. Console releases get physical discs, and PC gets fucked. It's either the game is listed as being available for Steam on release day, but we don't know what version of codes that they're going to hand out for PCs. It could be Windows Store. More likely Steam, but it could be Windows Store. Potentially. We're talking about Microsoft here, so they've been really trying to push the Windows Store.
I wonder why.
And they've been pushing the Windows Store for, more than a decade now. I mean, yeah, games for Windows Live was a thing, and some games cannot be played unless you download a thing that gets you around it.
Fallout 3.
Fallout 3, Fable 3, Fable 2, in fact, for PC did the same damn thing. Before it was pulled from the market completely. You can still get it for the Xbox. I actually own and managed to move Fable 2 from the Xbox 360 up to the Xbox One. That was a thing. Beyond that, Fable 2 was actually the best of the three games, in my opinion. Fable 3 was far too easy to break in terms of money, and it took all the challenge out of the back half of the game. It really did.
Now, go ahead.
While we're here, Reset Era, they're still a thing?
Yeah, Reset Era is still a thing. It became a thing when NeoGAF cooked on its own juices. If you want to run down on that, go check out my channel. I actually have a video with that precise title. NeoGAF cooks in its own juices, which, mind you, got demonetized because I was ragging on because a bunch of folks went "rawr" over that one. They got a big man, and I had big giggle.
Well, let's talk about the potential for online connectivity issues. The VGC article goes on to say, the news follows confirmation that the Arcane title will require an online connection to play, even in single-player mode.
Which is still bullshit. I remember when SimCity tried that, and that did not end well. Somebody patched out the online requirement in the first week, followed immediately thereafter by almost immediately thereafter by EA going, okay, fine, fuck it. They stole the workaround and made it an official patch. Like, what the hell, people?
This means that should Xbox servers go down, as it did happen in summer 2022,
yes,
it would be impossible to play the game and raises the prospect of the game being completely unplayable in the future.
Yes, all of the above. See, here's the fun part. If you get the PC version, patches, they might actually, you might be able to get a quote unquote, you might be able to get a 7Cs patch that will enable you to work the game in single player mode without having to deal with all of the extraneous bullshit. It is also possible. These things don't happen nearly as well on consoles because, yeah, that is a walled garden of sorts, where a microshaft has complete control. We only want you to put games on this machine that come from our servers, because fuck you. That's why.
Well, ironically enough, Microsoft is being hypocritical about this. The article goes on to say, huh?
They told Sony to get fucked. Apparently.
Xbox has historically promoted the importance of game preservation, most significantly with its backwards compatibility program. The company
that
also...
wasn't true. That wasn't true until people started demanding it of the Xbox Series S and X. They started that process with the Xbox One, and it was only select titles for no reason whatsoever. Compared to the PS5 at this point, which will let you pull forward all of your PS4 games with the exception of like 5. And none of them are games that anybody was really all that concerned about. Still would like to see some game preservation go on there, but yeah, if it's just a handful because either horrifyingly terrible and not worth the patchings, or which is most of those, or just plain we can't get that done. Okay, fine, be that way. Mind you, the architecture for the PlayStation 5 is very similar to that of the PlayStation 4, just beefed up considerably. Which actually makes me kind of sad because I can still whoop it with a mid-range PC.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I plan on getting a PS5 at some point because, well, yeah, of course. The same thing with the Xbox Series X. I will not get the Series S. It's crippled. One of these centuries, I'll be able to do that, and that'll be great. Also, Sanjina, if you're going to be silly, and insist that I fire Sanji from his own channel, at least spell the child's name correctly. Thank you. I mean, I could in theory, but yeah, then I'd have to run it. I don't wanna. That'd probably piss Sanji off, and yeah, that's not probably my best move.
Speaking of best moves, our next story. Charity Marathon Games Done Quick bans Harry Potter and Five Nights at Freddy's games from their marathon for shitty reasons.
Let me
Oh,
guess.
yes, this. Please note
Let
the
me
two
guess.
that are starred.
Let me guess. Neither game is woke enough.
No, actually, Scott Cawthon is a Trump supporter because, of course, he's absolutely entitled to his opinion. And if he didn't like the bidet, well, apparently that's a problem for GDQ. And everybody thinks that J.K. Rowling is a transphobe because she insists that women are actually a thing.
Wait a minute. Women are a thing?
Yeah, I know, right? Women are a thing. Women exist as women, and men cannot. And in her opinion, and that of more than a few other people, men cannot actually become women. They can live as women, and they're welcome to do that. They can modify their bodies in any way they see fit, and they're welcome to do that too. But you will not replace that Y chromosome with an X chromosome. That's all. Now, I get the whole intersex thing where it's really, really, really super ambiguous, but still.
Yeah. Besides, if you're going to trying to get another X chromosome, you might have to go through Microsoft.
Well, that's kind of becoming a thing as well, but that's neither here nor there, and well outside the scope of this channel.
And the boss says things. Okay. No, squirrels are not cowards. But squirrels do actually have a need to eat, so that's a good thing. Especially the smaller squirrels who don't have a way to defend themselves. As far as your second bit, and thank you for spelling the boy's name correctly. That's not impossible. That we might actually be able to get for him. What do you think, Sanji?
Kind of impossible.
Huh?
Kind of impossible.
No, well, I don't know. We'll see.
Because I was born a bullheaded man, anyway.
Yeah, well, no, she said a personality transplant. He didn't say anything about a chromosome transplant.
Well, maybe we can get if a personality transplant is possible. Maybe we can get that for Games Done Quick.
I'm not sure why Ion Fury is even on this list, aside from the fact that it's got a protagonist with some huge tits. Not sure about America's Most Wanted, Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
That includes a couple of. Yeah, that Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden has a couple of slurs in it.
Oh, well, fine, be that way. God of War 2005. I don't get that one either.
It includes a sex scene that is a mini game of all places, of all things.
That's a new one on me. Hey, back it up.
Hey,
I'm backing it up.
Air Control probably for the same reason as Barkley Shut Up and Jam. I don't know. Arrow Eco, I get that. Natsuhiro High School, I kind of get that too. Rocco's Quest. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rocco is a Nickelodeon dog.
Yep, Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Quest should be based on that, if I remember right. Games with an ESRB rating of adults only and anything that's already prohibited on Twitch. Okay, that's reasonable. Perfectly valid because, well, games with an AO ESRB rating are, well, they're banned on Twitch anyway. Those that can be modded out to M ratings, they're fine. Even for Twitch. But Twitch has a nice list that's not considered exhaustive, and Fairy Spotter does not appear on it. But yeah, the entire all of the Harry Potter games, including Hogwarts Legacy. I can't think of anything more inoffensive, honestly. It's just that people have bad attitudes to the general direction of J.K. Rowling at the moment. Five Nights at Freddy's, I think Scott Cawthon actually sold it at some point in the recent past. Maybe, is that right? I think that's right. I think but yeah, you have to be able to separate the artist from the message.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Five Nights at Freddy creator says he is retiring, handing off the franchise as of June 17th, 2021. This is according to Polygon, which I will link right here. Creator Scott Cawthon announces retirement amid criticism of his political donations, of all things.
Yeah, that's about what I figured. Yeah, but J.K. Rowling, she got a licensing fee for Hogwarts Legacy. She got to make comments on how she wanted it done, and then they made the game.
Well,
she said she kind of checks, but most of that's going to be from her. But that's all from her books.
Well, I kind of want to redivert into the first story a little bit. Reset Era banned all conversation of Hogwarts, Harry Potter or otherwise, from their forums.
Who couldn't have seen that coming?
Well, unfortunately, I happen to have spotted a tweet that I'm probably a little too lazy to find right now. But somebody pointed out that one of their head administrators bought the game. and was playing it.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call a self-own.
Well, it's hypocrisy for all I care. But they actually chased a very good developer from developing video games 2 years ago, going on 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And all because he had a political opinion.
Let me guess.
That's why Five Nights at Freddy's was on this list. They chased off the singer behind Five for Fighting. Same reason. Because he actually performed at Mitt Romney gatherings.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I'm guessing if the same developers had decided, you know what, I'm going to do a concert for AOC or appear with Nancy Pelosi, I'm guessing none of this would have happened.
None of it would have happened. None of this would have happened if they supported the right party or said trans rights are human rights. That type of behavior. But unfortunately, J.K. Rowling didn't say that. Fortunately, Scott Cawthorn.
We still have J.K. Rowling's tweets from way back in the day. She's been a supporter of of the transgender community and trans rights as a whole. She just thinks that women need their spaces away from men and the trans.
And if that gets us in trouble, so be it.
Yeah, well, unpopular opinions and all that shit.
But here's the thing. For the first time, we actually have leftists who are opposed to safe spaces.
Yeah, I know, right? Never mind that, J.K. Rowling is a non-biologist, non-medical doctor who can define woman as a word. Heavens forfend. We must all now go forth and clutch our pearls.
Well,
yes. My wife in the background is correct. I am a sarcastic ass.
Well, that's getting us neither where we need to be, and that is to our top story tonight.
We don't have a segue. That's what you're saying.
Yes, we don't.
Which is it?
We don't.
We don't have a segue because we didn't buy into them when they were popular. Oh, wait, they never were.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Korean developer Nexon accuses indie developer Iron Mace Games of stealing trade secrets, and they actually reported them to the authorities.
Well, again, good luck with that. I actually spent some time last night because, I had better things to do and didn't do them. Scouring the dark and darker trailers to see if I could find the assets that they were actually using. Most of them could be obtained very quickly off the Unreal store, the Unreal Engine store.
Here is one such Korean. Go ahead. Well, here's one such Korean article saying that the dark developers were accused of project leakage to Nexon. This is probably a translation error of the title.
By Nexon. It would have to be by Nexon because, think about it this way. You're looking, since none of us here read Korean or speak it for that matter, you're stuck on a machine translation, so that's a thing.
Yeah.
We don't know. What we do know is that the people that make up Iron Mace Studios at this particular point includes some people that they fired, or at least they claim they fired, that Nexon claims it fired for trying to take shit out of the building, which they're not supposed to do. It's really considered rude, because that would be trade secrets. The question, of course, is whether or not they were successful. And frankly, if you're going to do a thing, if you're going to do a game based on something else, that based on some other concept, that's not a copyrightable situation at this point. As long as you didn't take any of the code or the assets, then they got nothing.
Which leads me to this hot cake for the week. I personally believe Nexon was going to fire was going to blacklist the fired employees from the Korean gaming, and then they
part of their own company.
Yeah, and they failed. It's a lot like how Konami fucked over Kojima during development of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes, and then they decided they were going to go their own direction for Metal Gear Solid Survive. And lo and behold, it didn't work. Because all the fuckery. I had the distinct displeasure of playing Metal Gear Solid Survive. That game was hot garbage on levels that I have not seen since, well, the Slaughtering Grounds.
Ooh.
And whilst the Romine brothers might have had something resembling an excuse, Konami really doesn't. They have the resources.
They had the resources.
Well, and the other side of that is Konami sold that shit for $60. I think the original price for the Slaughtering Grounds was like $5 or less. It might have been less.
I would like to thank the fine folks over at Reddit for providing these screenshots.
That is a screenshot of the P3 project. If you look at the floor, it will seem similar to the floor for Dark and Darker, which I'm pretty sure is the next one. Is that the next slide?
Yes, it is. That's the next slide.
The floor looks kind of similar. The walls look kind of similar, but we can actually find Unreal Engine assets that look like that. Drive-by thumbing.
Yeah.
And I have to say something about there's an elephant in this room that nobody's talking about. So let me be the first one to talk about it. You have a Korean company blacklisting former employees, try to get them out of the gaming industry. That's cultural appropriation. And I will not stand for it.
Yeah, right. All right. So,
all right. Our next slide is going back to
the models for the walls and the floor are an Unreal Engine asset, or at least these appear to be so. It's actually part of a dungeony thing. It's actually part of a kit, which got used a lot.
Well, here we go back to P3.
Now, I didn't find that object anywhere in anything. That mob there, I didn't find it anywhere in the material we have for Dark and Darker. Just didn't happen. That is the thing that did not happen at all.
And the very next slide is back to Dark and Darker. I am not entirely sure what Nexon was going after in this situation.
First person dungeon crawler. That's where Nexon seems to think that Iron Mace grabbed it, because that's what we've got here.
Right.
Go back to slide 2. One more.
That is slide 2.
That's not slide 2.
That's slide 2.
Give me the first slide. Yeah, that back one. Okay. Now look at this chart here and look at the one on 4, on the next one for Dark and Darker.
Okay.
There you go. You can see these are the same object, and it's actually part of the thing. These are the same object. They really are. Now in our next frame, in the frame in the previous frame from P3, I think it had a torch in it. No, it didn't. Where was the torch? Come on.
Torch was 2, I believe.
That one's just got a sword. But the fire effects don't look anything even remotely alike. Just the little shit. Also, that statue on the over there towards the right against the wall, the relief there.
Yeah, I see it.
Nothing like that appears in the trailers or anything else we've got. We may actually have to try and get a copy of Dark and Darker to do a more thorough analysis. But we're probably never going to see P3, whatever the hell they were going to call that. We don't have a lot. We don't even have a lot as far as P3 goes. Yes, we got the same first-person dungeon crawler look and feel for P3 and Dark and Darker, but those things aren't unique to anything. They're really not. They're just not. What crack are we talking about here? I don't think they know.
Well, fortunately, Iron Mace Games before we went to before press time yesterday issued a statement. I want to address certain rumors that have started to circulate and reassure Dark and Darker fans that absolutely no stolen assets or code were used to make our game. Our code was built from scratch. Most of our assets are purchased from the Unreal Marketplace. All other assets on all game design documents were created in-house. This has already been audited by an outside agency. As far as we know, you cannot copyright a game genre.
Because you can't.
Regarding the lawsuit, we consider it a separate personal matter claimed on one of our team members. This is where the bit where I think that they were trying to blacklist this person came in.
So it wasn't even it wasn't even all the team members that were fired. Just that guy.
Yeah.
Probably guy. 99% likely to be guy.
Right. No lawsuit has been filed against Iron Mace. Regardless, we believe in our teammate and we look forward to the resolution of their personal matter.
They may assist him in that.
Building games is hard enough without all the rumors and distractions in our industry. This is why we chose to handle the matters privately in respect to our peers in our industry. We've reached out through our back channels and do not believe that the recent rumors were intentional and believe they are likely due to a disgruntled third party. For now, this will be our final statement on the matter. We are ready to defend if necessary, but we prefer to focus our energy on bettering our craft. We have a lot of work ahead of us and for the next playtest, and we'll let our work do the talking. Finally, we would like to thank all of our fans for their kind support. You are the sole motivation to build bigger and better. As always, the aim is to stay directly, openly engaged with you. Thank you for your support, and we hope to see you in the dungeon soon.
Now, for the record, let's do the record. Let's do the for the record thing. Dark and Darker during its last playtest went apeshit. It was all over everywhere. It actually set some records for largest number of concurrent players.
10 million globally.
So that was most decidedly a thing. And all of this rumor mongering is only helping Iron Mace. Had Nexon not released the had not set up that had there not been something set up to suggest that there was a problem with Nexon, then chances are very few people would have even heard about the game, and it would have gone up and then down and died like most games of its ilk. Because this game is actually, if I remember correctly, it's online multiplayer only. There might be a single player, maybe, if you're lucky. But kind of like Redfall, it's Redfall and Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood and all the other shit. We have a situation here in which, yes, you can play it by yourself, but I'm not sure why you'd want to. It's like some other games, The Ascent, which is far more difficult if you're doing it solo than it is if you've got a bunch of other peeps with you, because because everything is balanced for 4 players, in such a way that they don't actually change it if you've got fewer. Mind you, unlike The Ascent, you could do the you could work it from the Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, blah blah blah. Where was I going with that? Anyway,
maybe your point was Left 4 Dead.
You use bots, but bots in these games are typically retarded to the point of extremes. And I know that's not supposed to be a very good word, but I don't have another one that actually works as well. They are incredibly deficient in the mentation department. They don't respond to anything unless you fucking tell them to. And even then it's iffy. Mind you, it's not that you can even give them freaking orders. Oh, look, we're supposed to be shooting this thing in the weak spots. Why are you staring at that wall? I'm completely behind Yahtzee on this one. I am so entirely behind Yahtzee on that one. It's just not even remotely funny. You know, it's like, everybody skip the cutscene. No, I don't want to skip the fucking cutscene. You can watch it in the book later. That was the thing that I got quite a lot from Final Fantasy XIV. And then Square Enix stepped in and said, okay, you guys have to watch these few. You don't have to watch those. A couple of these you don't have to watch. But when you're in a big dungeon, you need to do it that way. Watch that scene. The ones in which we have all of the story exposition that you've already watched 5 million times by now. Because they all want to run ahead and get into the next raid or the next dungeon, and they don't want to deal with your bullshit.
Right.
I hated that.
Now, one thought that came to mind.
I'm new with this particular dungeon. Oh, shut the fuck up. There's one there have been a couple of cases where I've been brand new into a dungeon, never actually tried it before. And I go, okay, I don't know how this place is laid out, kick. Yeah. I barely got the enter key, and like 15 seconds later, I'm out. This happened to me one day, like 12 times in a row. And after the third kick, they made me wait 20 minutes before I was eligible for dungeoning.
Now, one thing I will say about the Nexon side of it is
Nexon. There is no Nexon. I in there. I'm going to beat Sanji over the head for giving you that pronunciation. It's Nexon.
Nexon. I tell you this. No, sorry, wrong.
But the point is, him about the head and shoulders with a freaking newspaper.
Anyway, the Nexon situation, the way there is a potential trap in this. Let's say, for example, somebody finds something, even remotely dingy about the final product or something goes wrong. The pitfall comes down to how much transparency there will be going forward, because in corporate speak you can say a million words like they did and still be guilty of sin. So although I appreciate what they're saying, I would still be very careful if I were Nexon. I would tread very carefully, make sure everything is above board, make sure there anything that could be problematic is dealt with, as they said, in private. Because even one little bit of bad press after today has a chance of scuttling everything they've done. I mean, I can point back to Duke Nukem Forever. That was a game that got pushed back and had developers and this, that, and the other thing. And by the time the actual game came out, it sucked. So Nexon needs to not only provide the goods, but be the good inside the goods, for lack of a better term.
Taking a look at it from a devil's advocate standpoint, that's a very strong point to make.
It's at least a point.
Yeah, Nexon should not be complacent, should not rest solely on whatever moral high ground they have as a result of this. Because a lot of times, especially in the gaming world, in the corporate world too, you can get too comfortable in a position. You can get way too complacent, and then watch as everything goes up because one thing went wrong and then something else went wrong. I have stories about a former employer, which will remain nameless, that is dealing with that as we speak, all because of people in higher up positions deciding ethics didn't matter.
All right. Before we close out the stream today, let us go over some This Week in Stupid.
You mean the Nexon thing wasn't stupid enough?
I have such stupid to show you.
If that was Nexon that said that shit, we've got we've got all of the hilarity of the Streisand effect.
Exactly.
Anyway, what do you got for twists?
Well, this week in Gaming Stupid, the game the day before recently put out a video that was heavily criticized. Not only by a friend of the channel, Big Fry, but by Kira as well.
I haven't
and guess what the developer reaction was going to be?
Extreme pissiness.
Extreme pissiness in the form of a copyright strike.
Oh,
God.
For both of them or just one?
For Kira. For Kira specifically.
Wow.
For people who develop video games, I get the feeling that a lot of people in higher positions don't understand internet culture whatsoever.
Oh, they don't understand the Streisand effect either. And Kira actually brought the goods. So if you want to see any of that, go into Kira's channel and take a look at his last few videos on the day before.
Okay.
Squirrel, what is your this weekend stupid?
Oof. Let's see. A bunch of idiots that drove a VTuber completely to tears for even owning a copy of Hogwarts Legacy, never mind actually playing it on a live stream.
Ooh.
Especially when said VTuber had been for a number of years at this point very supportive once again of the trans people. Because okay, you're now an anti-Semite and you're a transphobe, and here's the fun part. I've seen transphobe I've seen transgender people go, ooh, Hogwarts, we're there. I'm gonna go play this game. The other one I found hilarious is a number of Jewish people yelling from the rooftops that goblins aren't Jewish. What is it with the oh, these guys are Jewish, this is anti-Semitic? It reminds me of the thing from the Lord of the Rings games where they said or no, from Dungeons and Dragons where they said orcs were black people.
Oh.
No.
God.
That was never the case. Just because they're aggressive and get slaughtered in droves, that doesn't make them black people. It doesn't. It makes them fucking orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Orcs are more than capable of defending themselves, thank you very much, especially in the sort of Wild West atmosphere that most fantasy games live in. Which I find true also of Hogwarts. The other thing is the first goblin we see is a banker. So, way to play the stereotypes, guys. How about we fuck all of the off? That would be good. You know, they say, "Well, no, these aren't Jewish people. They're nothing like us." I'm gonna go with that guy because that's the sort because he is the type of person that they're accusing the goblins of being. Like, no, we're not going to do that.
All right, Mr. Thomas, what is your this weekend gaming stupid?
Actually, I'm gonna have to break out of the mold a little bit because I found something that was even stupid, well beyond the gaming universe.
Ooh, more stupid.
Yes, extremely
Really cool.
more stupid. It kind of goes back to the Streisand effect.
Oh dear.
South Park's 26th season started with the second episode. They mocked Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Now, according to sources, they're having lawyers look into South Park.
Oh,
yeah. And let me tell you, the episode itself was so funny. It had me standing up and applauding, just giving the nice slow clap as at the jokes.
I saw a very short clip of that, Thomas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they gave them the Canadian flapping head thing.
Yes, they did.
Oh.
And the title of Prince Harry's book was just "Wah." So therefore, look for possible legal fun coming up, and watch as Matt and Trey point, laugh, and get fodder for at least another few episodes, all because of this.
Oh, wow.
And knowing how quickly they turn things around, they might still be able to do those episodes this season. So let this be a lesson, kids. If you're famous, get a thick skin. If you don't have a thick skin, don't be famous.
Well, anyway, Mr. Thomas, I'd like to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me again. I'll be back soon with more fun and regaling of stories that I might know a little something about for a change.
Mr. Squirrel, I'd like to thank you for watching, even though you are playing the part of Slanjanina very, very well.
I deny any knowledge of Sanjina. Only what's been in her chat messages.
I have been Sanjay Himura. I'd like to thank you all for watching. And don't forget to do the YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Be
If you haven't already.
On Twitch, if you are not already.
Yes. And we will see you guys soon next week for a brand new W2 report. Until then, we will see you soon.
Hello, folks. This is Morgan Freeman. This concludes our broadcast day. I'm Morgan Freeman. Good night.